Hi guys, so this is the surprise. I'm going to be reading Mario and the Hole in the Sky, How a Chemist Saved Our Planet. I just wanted to share more science with you guys and that there are more than just the white guys that we learn in the textbooks, right? And hopefully you enjoy this reading. And if you really enjoy it, please go ahead and go buy this book as well, so that they get supported in their endeavors. Mario and the Hole in the Sky, How a Chemist Saved Our Planet. It is by Elizabeth Rush and illustrated by Teresa Martinez. Mario Molina was born in Mexico City on March 19th, 1943. By the time he was 6, the world was awash in amazing new products made from amazing new chemicals. Spray, spray, Mario's mother misted perfume onto her wrist. Squirt, squirt, someone polished a window. Spurt, spurt, a press of a button propelled cleaner onto a counter, paint onto a fence, hairspray onto curls. But one of the new chemicals used in millions of spray cans and refrigerators had a dangerous side that no one had yet discovered. Feliz cumpleaños, Mario! On Mario's 8th birthday, his parents gave him a microscope. Mario peered through the lens at a drop of water. Boring, he thought, and then he began to wonder, what would happen if I looked at dirty water? There he is. He's wondering. Do you see how proud his dad looks? I love these pictures. They're so cool. Mario soaked some lettuce and let it rot. After a few days, the gooey, brownish green mess smelled awful. Mario plugged his nose, sucked up a dropper of the filthy water, and drifted onto the slide. He peered into the lens and gasped. Incredible! All these amazing creatures in just one drop of water? He studied everything he could under the microscope. Sparkling salt crystals, tomatoes, onions, chilies from salsa, even toothpaste. Mario was itching to see more. Can I use this bathroom as a laboratory? He asked his parents. No one ever uses it. Dios mío, his mother groaned. Sounds messy. But they removed the toilet for him and installed some shelves. Don't blow anything up, his father warned. Clink, clink, hiss, hiss, whoosh. Bitter smelling smoke wafted out from under the door of Mario's bathroom lab. What are you up to, Mario? Asked his Aunt Esther, who was a chemist. Look at this, Tia. He showed her what scorched detergent looked like on a slide. She smiled and said, I think you need a few more things. She brought him a Bunsen burner and chemicals that are not found in a kid's chemistry set. Mario carefully mixed potions in his bathroom lab. Miraculously, substances changed from black to yellow, from water soluble to waterproof. He conducted more experiments with a chemistry teacher in boarding school in Switzerland. He burned chemicals over the flames of Bunsen burners. Sparks flashed purple, pink, crimson, red, green, blue, like fireworks. To Mario, chemistry had a mysterious power, a power that was changing the world around him. Stores were full of new and improved products featuring remarkable new ingredients that promised to be cheaper, better, and easier. But Mario knew that every chemical that seemed harmless could react with things in the environment and become dangerous. As Mario continued his study of chemistry, a question nagged at him. Were these new chemicals really safe? Soon after getting his PhD and beginning work in the United States, Mario heard something that started him on a quest to find out. A scientist studying air samples found tiny amounts of chlorofluorocarbons, or CFCs, floating around the air. Mario knew CFCs were used in refrigerators, air conditioners, insulation, and fast food containers, as well as propellant in millions of spray cans. He and his colleague, F. Sherwood Rowland, wondered once the CFCs were sprayed or leaked out, out of the dump, what were going to happen to them? What was his question again? Once the CFCs were sprayed into the air or leaked out at the dump, what happened to them? Mario and Sherry set up a bunch of experiments to find out. They mixed CFCs with water. Most chemical compounds dissolve in rain, but CFCs didn't dissolve. They shone lights on CFCs. Some chemical compounds break down when the light shines on them, but the CFCs didn't break down. They set up a contraption to mimic the Earth's lower atmosphere where any surviving chemical compounds usually decompose, but still, the CFCs endured. In the upper atmosphere, a layer of ozone surrounds our planet. Like a powerful sunscreen, the ozone layer filters out deadly solar radiation known as ultraviolet light. What would happen if CFCs reached the ozone layer? Mario asked. To answer the question, Mario grabbed the simplest tools of a chemist, a paper and pencil. He jotted down the ingredients that could be released if the radiation broke down the CFCs: carbon, called C, fluorine, called F, chlorine, called Cl. Then he wrote down what would happen if those ingredients reacted with oxygen, called O, in ozone, or ozone is O3. Mario discovered something scary. Chlorine floating around, freed by radiation, would break up ozone. He's really worried. Bent over his chemical equations, Mario felt a huge weight pressing on him. The problem was even worse. After the chlorine destroyed ozone, the chlorine survived. It could float around and destroy more and more ozone. Just one atom of chlorine would knock out tens of thousands of molecules of ozone. Without ozone, deadly solar radiation would bombard Earth, killing all plant and animal life. All plant and animal life. Mario hurried to Sherry's office. We have a problem, a serious problem. We have to do something. Mario and Sherry faced a sea of TV and newspaper reporters. CFCs used in millions of products are destroying our ozone layer, they said. They tried to explain the chemistry behind it, but only a few news reporters followed, and none captured the magnitude of this crisis. Mario tried again. He told Congress that CFCs were destroying the ozone layer, but still, no one took action. No one seemed to understand how serious the problem was. Mario was aghast. People believed it was just impossible that humankind would endanger the entire planet. The planet was big enough. It would just take care of itself, he says. But I knew this wasn't true. For more than 10 years, Mario continued to study the problem and warn people about the danger. If we keep using CFCs, he said, huge chunks of the ozone layer will thin or disappear. Skin cancer and eye disease could surge. Crops could fail. It could be a catastrophe. Chemical companies, newspapers, and other scientists said horrible things about Mario. Someone even accused him of being a spy trying to cause chaos in America. But why in the world would I make this up? Mario thought. I'm a scientist. And he never gave up. Then a British scientist took some measurements of ozone in the atmosphere. He found something strange. There seemed to be a huge hole in the ozone over the Antarctic, a hole the size of the United States. People wondered how that could happen. How could we have so much impact on our atmosphere and so quickly? Mario and Sherry again tried to explain the chemistry. Still, people demanded more proof. Scientists launched an expedition to Antarctica, counting chlorine and ozone from a high flying airplane. The results were clear and horrifying. Chlorine was definitely destroying ozone. Finally, people believed the scientists. Something had to be done. But what? Leaders from countries all over the world flocked to Montreal, Canada, to discuss the problem. Mario explained the science. He pleaded for nations to join together to stop the destruction of the ozone layer. The discussions were so slow and cumbersome, he says, I worried they might not succeed. Representatives returned to their countries across the globe. Mario returned to his home in the United States and waited. This was the Earth's first global issue, says Mario. There really was no example of the whole planet taking action on something like this before. I didn't know what would happen. Then Mario heard the news. 28 countries, including the United States and Mexico, agreed to stop making CFCs. Soon, 46 countries agreed. Then, more than 190 countries, nearly every country in the world, agreed to the Montreal Protocol. It was thrilling and satisfying and very much a relief, says Mario. For a while, CFCs already floating around in the air continue to rise to the ozone layer, but the Earth slowly makes ozone all the time. Once the barrage of CFCs lessened, the ozone layer began to recover, and it is expected to heal completely by 2070. Humans had created the first global environmental problem, and they found a way to fix it. Now, when Mario visits his hometown of Mexico City, where pollution clouds his view of a snow capped volcano, he worries about another invisible problem: global warming. The burning of oil, coal, and gas is changing the world's climate at a terrifying pace. But Mario has hope for our planet. His work on the ozone layer has shown that nations together can solve global problems. We can work with all countries, all cultures, and all people of the world, he says. We can work together. It is possible. We saved our planet once. We can do it again. Epilogue: Mario takes on global warming. On October 11th, 1995, Mario Molina was in his office preparing to teach a chemistry class. Bring the call from Sweden. Mario, Sherry Rowland, and the atmospheric scientist Paul J. Crucian had won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for their work on CFCs and the ozone layer. I was stunned. I was just so surprised. I couldn't believe it, Mario recalls. Mario's students celebrated by serenading him with a mariachi band. I slowly realized that winning the Nobel Prize and all the attention one gets, I could put that to good use, he says, and he has. Mario donated $200,000 of his Nobel Prize money to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology for a fellowship program for young scientists from developing countries. You never know which young, bright mind holds the solution to a serious problem we are facing in the world, he says. We need everyone. When he turned his attention to another big environmental problem, global warming. Scientists had discovered that the burning of fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas was releasing greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These gases trap heat, warming the planet and causing global climate change. The more Mario learned, the clearer it became. The world is warming at a dangerous rate. The human actions are to blame. True, replacing fossil fuels is more difficult than replacing CFCs, but we do have solutions, Mario says. What we need is for more of the countries to agree, just like they did with the ozone layer. The problem is so serious that we have to solve it using everything in our power. Mario has gathered with other scientists to urge the world to act quickly to prevent further global warming. They have advised the U.S. Supreme Court to support regulations of carbon dioxide emissions from cars. And Mario has counseled presidents of the United States and Mexico on environmental policy, encouraging them to participate in the first international effort to slow global warming. In 2016, the world began to address the problem. As part of the Paris Agreement, 195 nations promised to reduce carbon emissions. The goal is to keep global temperature change under 2 degrees Celsius. Mexico promised a 25% drop in carbon emissions by 2030. The United States pledged to reduce greenhouse emissions 26 to 28% by 2025. The President Barack Obama followed up with efforts to support clean power and curtail tailpipe emissions. Mario and fellow scientists called an agreement a small but historic and vital step toward more enlightened stewardship of the Earth's climate system. But President Donald Trump, who has repeatedly called climate change a hoax, intends to withdraw from the Paris Agreement as soon as the agreement allows. Withdrawal would become official in November 2020. Mario and 29 other scientists advised the Trump administration against withdrawal. Most of the climate warming over at least the last 6 decades had been due to burning of fossil fuels and other human activities, they wrote. If we continue to increase the atmospheric levels of greenhouse gases, the Earth will continue to heat up, with serious consequences for economies and ecosystems across the globe. But they rang a note of hope. Just as scientists have diagnosed the cause of the changes of the Earth's climate system, science can also provide the basis for solutions, they said. Many citizens in the United States are not waiting for the federal government to take the needed steps. Thousands of state governors, city mayors, and business CEOs have promised to keep working to meet the Paris Agreement carbon emissions targets. We fix the ozone crisis. We can end global warming too, but we need to commit to solving the problem together. Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please fill out the survey at bit.ly/Mario Story 2020. Thank you. This is a performance by Miss Rizikasa.